Hot dogs, get your hot dogs here.
I'll take 2, hot dog man. Hey, Peanut Man, some game today, huh? It sure is. No wonder it's the national pastime. Cracker Jacks, peanuts, but it wasn't always this way.
There was a time when many of the players we're watching today wouldn't have been allowed to play America's game.
With 2 out, Jeter comes to the plate. Here's the pitch. Wham! Jeter rips it down left field line. Roar! He's rounding first and heading into second. Here's now the throw. He slides. Safe. Jeter safe at second.
Thanks, my hero, Jackie Robinson. All because of him, baseball is the better game, and America's better place. Peanuts, Cracker Jacker!
Got a minute? We'll talk about him.
The 4th Amendment gave African Americans citizenship back in 1868. Yet, in 1945, black people still didn't have the same rights as white people.
They often weren't allowed to go to the same schools or use the same restrooms, and they certainly weren't allowed to play baseball in the major leagues. Hot dogs.
But the president of the Brooklyn Dodgers, Branch Rickey, wanted to change all that. So he invited a young baseball player from the Negro Leagues to his office.
It was Jackie Robinson.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Rickey.
Let me get right to the point, Jackie. I believe it's unfair to judge a man by the color of his skin, and I believe it's bad business to keep good athletes off my team. But I need a player who's strong enough to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball.
That's mighty tall order, Mr. Rickey, but I believe I'm up to it.
I'm looking for a special kind of athlete. My scouts tell me you're the only person ever to letter in football, basketball, track, and baseball at UCLA.
Competition was pretty fierce in my household. Growing up with 3 older brothers and all, I guess you'd say I have to develop a fiery spirit.
And a fierce temper, no doubt.
Mr. Rickey knew he needed more than just a great athlete if he was to be successful in his goal of integrating baseball.
He needed someone with strength of character. If you were to play for the Dodgers, Mr. Robinson, would you be able to control yourself even when people hurl insults at you?
Mother raised us to behave like gentlemen, to be respectful even when we were treated badly. Growing up in Pasadena, the white men in the neighborhood would throw rocks at my brothers and me, but we refused to stoop to their level.
That's good to hear, Jackie, but I can assure you it will be much worse in packed stadiums with 40,000 people yelling at you. What will you do when the crowd taunts you with racist remarks?
My mother always taught me to turn the other cheek.
What will you do when umpires call you out when you're really safe?
Next time up, I'll hit the ball harder.
What will you do if a pitcher throws the ball at your head?
I'll duck.
Mr. Rickey tested Jackie for almost 3 hours. He told him about all the nasty things people would do to him. He even tried to make him angry by calling him names.
But Jackie showed he could control his temper. All of these things will happen and more. Teams will refuse to play against you. Fans will spit on you. You'll get hate mail.
Do you want a ball player who's afraid to stand up for himself?
No, I want a man with the courage not to fight back.
Cracker Jack appeared. It was big news on the sports pages all across America. And Mr. Rickey signed Jackie to a contract.
Then, after a year in the minor leagues, Jackie was ready to suit up, not just for Brooklyn, but for the entire African American community.
Needless to say, this worried a lot of white folks, especially many of the players in the Dodgers locker room.
I can't believe it. What's that? It says here that this black fella is getting called up to play for our team. What? I won't have it. I'll quit before I play with a colored man. We'll be the laughing stock of the whole league. Say, let's start up a petition and send it to the management. We'll let Mr. Rickey know that we're not standing for this. Good idea. We, the members of the Brooklyn Dodgers, refused to take the field with a colored man.
These ball players went around getting all the other Dodgers to sign.
But there was one Dodger who wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Harold, you should sign this petition to keep that colored fella off the team. I don't know. I hear tell this Robinson fella is a shortstop. They aim to give him your job. If he's good enough, then he deserves it. I don't care if this man is black, blue, or striped. If he can help us win, well, that's all that matters. Sorry, boys, I won't sign.
Of course, Jackie's friends knew there was more to it than that. If Jackie could help the Dodgers win, the other teams would sign black people too.
It would lead to the integration of the national pastime and ultimately an end of segregation in America.
You can't imagine how tough it was for Jackie back in 1947. Peanuts here!
His teammates wouldn't sit with him. Opponents spiked him with their cleats. The Ku Klux Klan threatened his family.
But through it all, Jackie resisted the temptation to strike back in anger. Get off the field, Robinson. Colored men are restricted to the bleachers. Boo! Boo!
Maybe Jackie learned to tune out the angry shouts from the crowd, or maybe they bothered him more than he let on.
But one day at a game in Ohio, things took a turn for the better. There'll be people waiting for you in the parking lot after the game, Robinson. Hey, Pee-wee, what a good old boy like you doing playing baseball with a color?
Pee-wee decided to stand up for what's right. He jogged over to Jackie and put his arm around his shoulder.
You all right, Jackie?
I've been putting up with it all season. I can keep my peace a little longer.
I don't know how you do it.
Oh, I just keep reminding myself that there's a lot more at stake than my pride.
Well, yeah, a lot to be proud of. A lesser man would have given up a long.
Thanks, Pee-wee. Let's win this game.
When the fans saw Pee-wee at Jackie's side, they settled down.
And when the team saw how talented Jackie was, they quit worrying about skin color and started worrying about whether they could beat those Yankees. Cracker Jacks! Get your Cracker Jacks here!
Despite all the pressure, Jackie led the Dodgers to the World Series and was named Rookie of the Year. Some said it was toughest season any ball player has ever endured. Last chance for hot dogs.
No doubt the reason today's game is so exciting is because Jackie had the courage to turn the other cheek.
Here in the top of the ninth inning with 2 outs and the score tied 2-2, the Yankees are taking no chances with Ken Griffey Jr. up to bat. They've brought in their closer, Marino Rivera. Here's the pitch. Caught. Strike one.
Hot dogs, get your hot dogs here.
Rivera takes his thumb. Here comes the pitch. Whack. Griffey lifts a flare into center. The runners are going. This could drop. Williams dives and makes the catch. Bernie Williams with the game-saving catch for the number 3. Oh my! Roar!
If the measure of a man's life is the impact he had on the lives of others, then Jackie Robinson was just a giant of a man.
By changing baseball, he changed America.
Last chance for peanuts, Cracker Jack!
Hot dogs.